I'm going to introduce John Sternal. He's the Vice President of Communications at LeaseTrader.com. John?
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And we should have, here you go. You might be wondering where that was.
Excellent, thank you. Yes, I know I'm last before lunch, so they've put this microphone right close to my stomach, so if you hear grumbling, it's not thunder outside, promise. Thank you again. My name is John Sternal, and I am the Vice President of Communications and Research Programs at LeaseTrader.com. I'd certainly like to thank Jeremy and Edmunds for inviting us to be a part of such an important conference on automotive safety. Last night, many of you took part in a practice driver's test that included 10 common questions found on many driver's tests across the country. Not kidding you, the minute I even said driver's test, many people ran. They ran from me, and there's still a couple of people in this room. I know who you are. You still have to turn in your test. I'm waiting for it. We'll get to the results of that in a little bit. I assure you, if this was high school, I'd be voted least likely to make friends, but that's another day. But let's get into, we started LeaseTrader about 12 years ago as a car leasing marketplace and for consumers. Like Edmunds, we always build our programs to benefit the consumer through advocacy and advice. But as a responsible automotive company, we certainly do feel like it's necessary to do more in the areas of automotive safety, which is why we're now doing as much research as we possibly can. Just as a couple of examples of some of our most recent research programs, at the end of last year in 2010, we did a little bit of a study on the types of traffic violations that drivers of certain types of vehicles believe they're targeted for. If you are driving a luxury vehicle, how do you think your likelihood of getting a speeding ticket is going to be? Or if you're a driver of a economy vehicle, what do you believe your likelihood of getting the same type of a violation would be? And we looked at many number of different types of traffic violations. Earlier this year, we did a study on rear seat restraints in passenger vehicles. We've all heard the phrase click it or ticket, and there's been a lot done to successfully get people to buckle up in the front seat, especially if you're a driver or a passenger in the front seat. But how many people buckle up when they're in the rear seat of a vehicle? It's pretty dangerous. The results that we found, a lot of people still today admit that they feel this false sense of security with that front seat in front of them, and whether it's not top of mind or whether because of that false sense of security, they're just not buckling up still. We're headquartered in Florida, and Florida is one of many states that still do not have primary laws requiring people to buckle up in the back seat. We're now working with members of legislation to try and get laws amended or passed in that area. In conjunction with today's conference, LeaseTrader is releasing results of our latest research project, which offered a questionnaire to drivers all across the country on 10 very common questions that are on sample driver's exams in many states today. The results show that there seems to be a trend in which the more time that has taken place since a person first took their driver's test, the less information that they've retained. The results that you're seeing here on this screen, these are actually the tops in each of the age groups. The overall percentages of everyone who took the test were significantly lower, which again is pretty alarming. The biggest problem about this that I'd like to call attention to is the fact that many of these are common questions that involve life and death consequences, and we're talking split decision situations. The question in particular here, talking about when to stop for a school bus, for example. Many people answered B when the actual answer is C. And again, if you're If you're in that situation and your mind is not of top of mind what the answer really should be, this could be pretty damaging or very damaging to a child getting off the bus. So how did everybody do on the test last night? We had about 50 respondents. I assure you, we gave the test before they entered the cocktail party. I didn't want them having a couple of drinks and then taking a test. But believe it or not, out of those 50 people, only about a quarter of you passed. Only about a quarter of you got 70% or higher, and everybody else got either 40, 50, or 60%. So it's, if anything, this tells us that we might need to rethink the way in which we approach driver's exams and written exams when we're going out and getting our driver's license, to find the right ways to retain that information that is so critical. So again, thank you so much for having us here today. And as I understand it, I don't think we're taking questions because we want to get them into lunch, but I'll be around if anybody does have any questions about any of the research programs that we've done.
Okay, thanks. And you're going to be around at lunch if there are any questions,
We will,
right?
yep.
So with that, it is lunchtime. I should point out that some people have been talking to me about the fact that the temperature in the room here seems to be climbing as we work through the day. I don't think it's the air conditioning. I think it's the discussion is getting a little bit more elevated. And I predict it's actually going to be even more interesting this afternoon. So don't think of leaving just because it's lunchtime. So we'll see you after lunch.